Captain Marcus Chen had seen many strange things during his tenure aboard the research vessel Endeavour, but nothing quite prepared him for the crystalline being standing before him in the ship's quarantine bay. Zarath, as she called herself, possessed a translucent blue skin that seemed to shimmer with internal light, and her large, multifaceted eyes held an ancient wisdom that made Marcus feel like a child. "You must not go to Kepler 442c," she pleaded, her voice resonating through the universal translator with musical tones. "The Vorthak dwells there. It kills anything that moves." Marcus leaned back in his chair, studying the alien refugee they'd picked up from a drifting escape pod near the system's edge. Her ship had been destroyed, she claimed, by something she could only describe as death incarnate. "Our scans show the planet is rich in trilithium deposits," Marcus replied calmly. "The Earth colonies need those resources. We can't turn back, based on stories of monsters." Zarath's crystalline features darkened with what Marcus assumed was frustration. "Stories. Captain, my people have explored the galaxy for millennia. We have faced the burning swarms of Andromeda, survived the void wraiths of the Outer Rim. But the Vorthak..." She shuddered, her internal light flickering like a candle in the wind. "It is apex predation, given form. Evolution's perfect killing machine." Despite her warnings, Marcus gave the order to proceed. The Endeavour descended through Kepler 442c's atmosphere, touching down in a vast, crystalline forest, where towering spires of what looked like frozen lightning stretched toward alien stars. The mining operation began at dawn. Marcus led the ground. Team personally, his Marines spreading out in a protective perimeter while the extraction drones began their work. Zarath remained aboard the ship, too terrified to set foot on the surface. It was Sergeant Torres who first spotted the movement, a shadow that seemed to flow between the crystal formations like liquid darkness. Then came the screams. The thing that emerged from the forest defied description. 12 feet tall and built like a fusion of predator and nightmare, it moved with impossible speed on 6 segmented legs. Its hide was chitinous black, scarred by what looked like centuries of battle. Multiple rows of teeth filled a maw that could swallow a man whole, and its forearms ended in claws that could shred titanium. The Vorthak. It killed Hernandez first, simply reaching out and crushing the man's skull in its grip. The Marines' plasma rifles barely scratched its hide. Rodriguez lasted long enough to scream into his comm before those claws opened him from throat to sternum. Marcus watched in horror as his team, trained soldiers, veterans of a dozen campaigns, fell, like wheat before a scythe. The creature moved through them with surgical precision, each kill efficient and brutal. It wasn't just hunting, it was enjoying itself. "Fall back to the ship!" Marcus shouted into his comm. But even as the words left his mouth, he knew it was too late. The Vorthak moved faster than anything that size had a right to move. As the beast turned toward him, Marcus found himself doing something completely irrational. Instead of running, instead of raising his weapon, he simply sat down on the crystal ground and waited. The Vorthak approached slowly, its multiple eyes fixed on this strange prey that neither fled nor fought. It raised one massive claw ready to deliver the killing blow. "Easy there, big guy," Marcus said softly, his voice steady despite the terror coursing through his veins. "I'm not going anywhere." The creature paused, tilting its massive head. In that moment, Marcus realized what others had missed. The scars on its hide, the way it had killed his team. This wasn't mindless aggression. This was loneliness. "How long has it been since someone wasn't afraid of you?" Marcus asked, maintaining eye contact with the predator. "How long since someone just sat with you?" The Vorthak's claws slowly lowered. It studied this human who showed no fear, no aggression, only a strange sort of acceptance. Cautiously, Like a wild animal testing for traps, the creature settled its massive form onto the crystal ground beside Marcus. They sat in silence as alien stars wheeled overhead, the most dangerous predator in known space and a human captain sharing a moment of impossible peace. From the ship's observation deck, Zarath watched in stunned silence. Her translator struggled with her whispered words. Impossible. The humans. What are they? Hours later, when the rescue shuttle arrived from the Endeavor, they found Marcus, still sitting beside the Vorthak. The creature had curled around him almost protectively, its massive head resting near the human's feet like a faithful guard dog. "Sir?" Lieutenant Yamamoto's voice crackled over the comm. "Are you safe?" Marcus looked up at the creature that had terrorized the galaxy, now sleeping peacefully beside him. "Yeah," he said quietly. "I think we both are." As they prepared to leave, the Vorthak watched Marcus board the shuttle. For just a moment, its alien eyes held what might have been sadness, or gratitude, or perhaps both. The Endeavor departed Kepler 442c with its trilithium cargo, but also with something more valuable, the knowledge that sometimes the most dangerous things in the universe aren't looking for a fight. Sometimes they're just looking for a friend. Zarath spent the journey home, studying the humans with new interest. In all her species' long history of exploration, they had never encountered beings quite like these, creatures who could find kinship with monsters, who could offer compassion to the very things that hunted them. "Captain," she asked Marcus as they entered hyperspace, "how did you know?" Marcus smiled, thinking of an old dog he'd once found behind a dumpster on Earth, scarred, vicious, and utterly alone. "Sometimes," he said, "the meanest animals are just the loneliest ones." Behind them, on a distant crystal world, the Vorthak watched the stars and waited for the strange, fearless beings to return.